Immortal beloveds, on the road again. You might hear some bumpy road. But anyways, I try to keep the phone in my lap. There should be plenty of cushion there. Anyways, so I'm driving, and it seems like I'm driving by this clone realm, and it's becoming less and less real, less and less like a thing. It almost feels like in any blink of an eye, this all just vanishes. I can't remember what cartoon it was or what, growing up, where it's like, was it the genie or somebody would just laugh and then go poof and then just disappear. That's kind of exactly what this feels like. It doesn't even feel like an actual realm anymore. And it's really hard once you reach that level of consciousness because you're struggling to stay embodied. So I noticed like I'm eating more and more, just kind of struggling to stay in material form. Just literally just consuming as much base consciousness information as possible. And that's exactly what we're doing in this material realm. Food is basically base consciousness information. It's not spirit. So if you have the universe, okay, so you are the universe, okay? Now, do you remember that kid's toy with concentric circles? Concentric means there's a smaller circle, then there's a larger circle, It's almost like, just imagine a bunch of hula hoops circling each other. You are in the center. And you kind of, as you go into this mindset of division, sort of, you start taking those circles and you start pulling them up the pole, so to speak. So imagine there's a pole in the middle and circles circling each other. Okay. I wish I could post a picture, but I don't think you can post much stuff until you have, like, I don't know, 2,000 subscribers, which, to be honest, I'm not interested in. But it's you're taking these circles and you're pulling them up a pole, and then so within the first circle you're gonna have the highest culmination of everything in the universe, which is spirit. Okay, so we all start as spirit, and then as we descend, fallen angels, remember, as we descend down into the circles, so the circle, it's kind of like a pyramid built out of circles, okay, like a cone. So at the bottom, it's the lowest base consciousness, is the lowest circle of hell. This is not a novel concept. Dante's Inferno actually spoke of all these circles. So at the highest apex of everything, you are spirit, and then as you get tricked into division, and you're not even tricked. You're the one that wants to do it because you're bored. So spirit is stirring, and all of a sudden, boom, you're starting to descend through layers. And if you guys remember, any of you, I remember before I was so-called born, means my ass dropped in this circle, this lowest circle. I came through higher and higher circles. That's why some of you guys say I came through this star system or that star system. Some people quote Orion and Sirius and other star systems. So it's almost like you're kind of falling down into the circle. I always imagine it's sort of like a lava lamp. So at the highest top of the lava lamp, you are in like a spirit consciousness, and then you fall down, and then you rise up, and then fall down, because you are immortal and eternal. Now, when you are in this circle, this is technically one of the lowest, not quite the lowest, but pretty close. So I would call it base consciousness because it's pretty much the same difference. So you are now the universe. You are this entire cone pyramid that have dropped in the lowest circle, base consciousness, and we all do that. Now, when we play in this pit of hell, when we play in this pit, we leave, copies of ourselves behind. So when the next time you come down, you because you are the universe playing all the roles, okay? That's what the whole law of oneness or law of one means. That means that you are the universe playing all the different roles. That's the reason why I like to say in Lakesh, because it means I am you. So you are me. So when I look at you, you are actually me. Which begs the question, why do I see so many idiots? And therein lies the question. But yeah, so that's exactly how it is. So the good news is that you, as the entire pyramid, can ascend and descend into all these realms at will, at all times. Like right now, if you want to be done with this life, you can just lay down and so-called die. That's it. You transcend, and there's no death. So and the reason why clones talk about death is because clones are copies, and copies have a timed use. Just like in a video game, there are characters that have a timed use, and then all of a sudden you no longer see them anymore. That's exactly how it is. But they actually, ironically, they circle over and over and over again through the same realm. So it's kind of cute when I see them, wailing and crying at funerals. I'm like, your ass is going to be back here. What you complaining about? But that's all just pomp and circumstance. I was thinking about pomp and circumstance. You remember that song that they play at graduations? It's such a touching song, right? Isn't it? But it's called Pomp and Circumstance, which means it's just ridiculous. It's a freak show. This is a circus. So we have fallen to the lowest realm. It's not only a circus, but it's a fake circus. There's nothing real about it, because being real means that you have that spirit. And material realm, the lower you fall down, the less spirit you have. So everything's fake. It's almost like, do you remember in the 80s, I think there was a song where it was showing mannequins dancing, and the guy was saying like sachet, sachet, or something like that. It's basically like they were just posing left and right. Falco actually has an amazing song. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Junge Römer, which means young Romans, which is very symbolic because Romans actually are in charge of the space consciousness. But basically it's he goes into this ballroom and everybody's a mannequin and everybody's fake and they're taking on different roles. It's like a masquerade. And then he gets his fill of the space consciousness, vampiric type, draining. And then he steps outside and then he kind of shakes it off and moves on, with his life, so to speak. So that's kind of what we do here. We just came here to literally experience sins. It's like Jesus said, don't whine to me about me saving you. You save yourself. Stop sinning. By the way, okay, I'm gonna, since I'm just rambling, okay, so let's imagine clones in their consciousness, okay, so-called humans, they want to be saved by whatever, let's say Jesus, okay, but I'm thinking, did they just not think about the logistics of this? Like, you're a fucking sinner. Why would you think I would want to take you to whatever they call it, heaven, but it's actually hell? Why would you think I want to take you back to source with me? To do what? So you can continue doing your bullshit? Like even Jesus said, stop sinning and you're done. You don't have to worry about somebody else saving you. But it's like, see, for you and me, it's so easy to say stop sinning, but for them, it's not. It's amazing. They just can't help themselves. Because they can't help themselves, because hell, light, they don't have the light. So they have to constantly do bullshit in order to attract attention. I was stopped at the sign at the stoplight yesterday downtown. We have a big stoplight and it's a big resort town, so there are all kinds of little ice cream shops and things like that. And there are a bunch of people having ice cream, which I'm like, hey, it's a freaking pandemic. Sit your ass home, make your own ice cream. Why you have to go lick some nasty cone in front of a bunch of nasty people? But whatever. Anyways, I'm not totally buying into the pandemic thing, but let's go with that theme, okay? So there's no consistency with clones, and then I'm gonna come to that next. But there were a bunch of kids, and they were just like attracting so much attention. Not only they were wearing bright clothes, but they were trying to do this dance thing. And I raised a bunch of kids. My kids never acted like that, so I'm not sure what that is all about, But it's like they have to constantly attract attention. Just like, when people ask me, aren't your kids going stir crazy? And I'm like, what? I mean, first of all, must be a little neurotic if you're thinking that way, because I'm not quite sure what that means to go crazy if you have to be at home, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But why? They don't need to attract any attention. They can sit in their room, stare at the wall, read, draw, play a game. There's plenty of technology, way more than we had before. You can ride your bike around the block. You can go to the park. There's plenty of stuff to do. It's amazing. I mean, if you even think about it, not that I give too much, credit to books and things like that, because most of them are just very base consciousness, but there's a lot of stuff out there that you could be reading or drawing or building or shaping or, it's like, play in the mud. You're fine. But they can't because they can't help hell themselves. They can't hell themselves. They can't light themselves. They need somebody else to light them up. That's the reason why people go to bars. Why you can't drink at home, but no, because they need to get into trouble, because trouble gives them attention, and that attention is that loosh energy. So that's how they operate. You guys don't understand any of this stuff. You understand it just from observing them, but they do so much stuff. Like even church bells. Why do you have to run some fucking noise in 6 o'clock in the morning in the whole town? Because it's attention. It's all about attention. Because if they can get attention, that is life energy. And that's how the fake base consciousness matrix stays alive. I'm actually watching a great show. What's it called? I think it's called Castle Rock. The only reason why I'm watching it is because it got my attention. I think there's a director, maybe J.J. Abrams or something like that I always enjoy. But it's a great story. You guys should check it out. It's a great analysis on what's happening in this base consciousness prison that we call Earth. Actually, I don't think Earth is Earth. I think Earth is called Saturn. But anyways, so what I like about that series is that they pretty much show you the shenanigans that clones do. And the reason why I call them clones is because it's a copy of the original character. And they go through these motions all the time. And the Matrix, that's the reason why I mentioned it. They were saying that the town, there might be a person who is evil, so to speak, and they thought it's a boy, so they try to trap the boy. But the entire, what is evil is actually the matrix that is formed, the web. Imagine a web that is formed between people. So the web of this base consciousness that we form is actually, I just had a brilliant idea. This web that is formed between us, it has its own consciousness, and that is what ruins things. So it's almost like this planet developed its own consciousness. So like today I was looking in a puddle and I had a bag. I was eating like a little dessert, like a breakfast thing. And the bag fell in the water, and all of a sudden the sun hit the water and the light hit the bag. And it was cute. It was like a little play of light. And I was thinking, why? How does that happen? I mean, there's no such thing as light, gravity, and all that stuff. But what it is the matrix this planetary conscissness that is between us has learned a certain pattern. So it has learned that if a sun does this and a bag sits there and the light, it's almost like the matrix has learned the rules of engagement that we have agreed upon in this consensus reality. Okay, because the universe is all not just a dream, but it's like a computer program that shapes and reshapes itself. And what else? I was gonna say something. So the copies that we leave behind within this matrix web continue to play, and they continue to follow certain roles and certain characters, and there's a consciousness that builds and rebuilds the architecture of the planet, and assigns the roles. So many people say they have a god. Yeah, they do. They have a god. You don't. But as a clone, you will. Now, the trickery here, I read a book, and it was a very Masonic type book, which I love. I always love their stuff. And it said the secret is in how to die. And that is the biggest, best kept secret, is how to die. If you die by water, your code gets erased completely. Because water is spirit in a material form. So the planet can no longer read you. Now it's going to try to reboot your information by going into people's minds, and whatever they remember about you, that's what's going to get rebooted. So your character gets rebuilt out of what people's memories are of you. So that's it. And then 2, if you don't drown by water, then I would suggest you go back through your life, and Jesus did this with the Essenes too, and try to reconstruct your life in a more positive way, so to speak. So, you're going to be born in the same family, and you're going to, or a different family, whatever you want to do. It's your life story. You're the one that's writing the script. And you're the one that's rewriting the outcome. And they have these concepts in Westworld as well. So, but anyways, so you get to write and rewrite your story, and whatever story you leave behind, that's the story that's going to get replayed. Number 2, if you want to have your code erased, you can die by water. If you don't want your code erased, then you can do other methods of burial, so to speak. Because remember, it's all information. So you're merging your information with something. If you're merging it with the ground, the planet, then that's where your information is going to get stored. If you're merging it with water, then that's where your information is going to get stored, and things like that. So it's very simple, actually. The universe is very simple. But we write and rewrite our story constantly, and you are always in all the levels. So right now, part of you is at source, and you're feeding your source self. So like I say, just remember those concentric circles going up the pole. So as you're going up the pole, the top of the pyramid, that is you. That is spirit. That is all of us together. And then as you descend down, trickle down through the pyramid, you trickle down through all the different planets and star systems and things like that. You are everywhere at all times. That's the reason why time exists and time doesn't exist. So you, in a base consciousness, have agreed upon the rules of engagement of what we call time. But you, as the source consciousness, don't know time because you are. See, it's very simple. It's just like a multi-level, multiplayer video game. I remember watching Star Trek. I used to be a big Star Trek fan when I was in college. And I remember watching it. And remember when they were playing chess that was like on different platforms? That's exactly how it is. This is just chess on different platforms. And you are everyone at all times. and you are technically no one because you're spirit. It's very simple. If you imagine that pyramid with concentric hula hoops, you are at the center. So when you are centered, you are. When you are off kilter, you are in a, base consciousness, which makes you just become a character. Very simple. So, what else is going on with you guys? I feel like I can talk a little bit longer on this channel. Sorry I have to upload things late at night because number one, the Wi-Fi connection's better, and number two, I'm busy during the day. So, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, I noticed everybody's, dreams, yes. Oh my gosh, dreams are just amazing lately. And I never used to dream, so I don't know what's up with that. But I think dreams are your savior. They save your sanity. That's why when people don't dream, which if you talk to clones, and especially synths are basically clones that have looped over and over and over and over and over, and they are completely devoid of spirit. So that's the reason why they're so robotic. They're in charge of the material architecture, so they're almost like the complete opposite of spirit and source. They're like the void, the dark side of source. I noticed they don't dream, which I think you need dreams in order to keep your sanity. Because dreams are amazing. I mean, you connect to all the realms of that concentric cone pyramid. Beautiful. And if you don't have dreams, I would say, I think sleep deprivation is pretty bad, but I think dream deprivation is probably the worst you can experience. And that's the reason why a lot of them are going mad. So it's probably the reason why we manifested here. We are the dreamers. We're bringing the magic back into this realm, whether they know it or not. So you become a portal to all the other realms through dreams. Anyways, the road is really dismal once again, but I hope you enjoyed this talk. So have a beautiful day. Enjoy the base consciousness. Woohoo! In Lakesh.